Good afternoon. Welcome to the 415. I'm Raina Star, so you don't have to be. Joining me any moment, as always, is my co-host, the amazing Star Bustamante. The 415 is brought to you by House of Black Hat Magic, wildhunt.org, Desperate House Witches, Dorothy Morrison. Check out dorothymorrison.com for all of your Dorothy Morrison needs. Please give wildhunt.org all of your support. Take a swing by Desperate House Witches and listen to some of my interviews, because I would appreciate that oh so very much. I don't know where my co-host is, but that's fine. She'll get here momentarily. Wow, what a bleeping thing of mess we've got. All right, so is that you, Star?
Mm-hmm.
Say hello, Star.
Hello, Star.
Okay, perfect. So the opinions on this broadcast are mine and my co-host. There will be a lot of swearing. It's going to be sweary. Got some shit to say. It's going to be ultra sweary today because it's an ultra fucking mess. So, welcome to the show. And here we go. So, all right, we were just having this discussion, and now I'm going to include our listeners in this discussion. So, what I was saying was 2 weeks ago, we were not even discussing Epstein. As far as we knew, he was dead, and so is the case. And Ghislaine, thank you, Howard Stern, or Ghislaine, Jolane, Gullane, whatever the fuck, the G Spot girl, I don't know. The groomer. That's what she was. She was the groomer. Was in jail, and that was the end of the story. But all of a sudden, I heard Republicans talking about Epstein, and I'm like, the fuck are we talking about Epstein for? And then Trump starts talking about Epstein. I'm like, why are we talking about Epstein? And then the MAGA started coming out saying, we want to see the files. And I'm like, I was confused. Why are we fucking talking about Epstein and the files? Don't we have other shit to contend with? Apparently not. And apparently this has become a big fucking deal. And according to Trump, this is all a Republican job to take him down. And I'm like, no, asshole, you're the one who mentioned it. We had shit to do with this. You did this on your own. Now it's become a conspiracy about Hillary. I don't know how. Joe Biden. I don't know how. And Barack Obama, who would have had to have a crystal fucking ball to predict that Trump was going to win an election. And I mean, Barack Obama's my age. We had no future thought on this. So all of a sudden, he's talking about stupid Republicans. He's calling some of you stupid. I want to keep that in front of you. Please remember, your president that you voted for, MAGA, he's calling you stupid. I would not be cool with that if I were a MAGA person. But what do I know? Y'all seem to accept anything this guy does. Good luck on you, but I wouldn't be cool with it. And now he's just flinging shit like a monkey in the zoo with shit flying everywhere and seeing what sticks to the wall. Now, here's the thing. If I told you this story in 10 years from now and said, hey, we had this guy in public service and he got caught not releasing a document because we knew his name was in it, and it was obvious his name was in it because he was seen palling around with this guy, and we knew that. That doesn't mean he did anything wrong, although, you know, what can I tell you? Guilt by association. It's not 100% accurate, but, where there's smoke, there's somebody's ass burning, I would think, but I'm guessing. Um, but people have said, I've heard people say, he was there a lot. I don't know. I wasn't there, but I've heard people say that. People are making suggestions. I don't know. I didn't say it. But yeah, so his name is mentioned in this document. Now all of a sudden there's nothing to see here. Well, you're the one who fucking brought it up. Why didn't you just keep your mouth shut? But no, Jabby Jabberstein, you had to keep running your friggin' mouth, bless you. Had to keep running your mouth like, you needed something to fucking say, and now you backed yourself into a corner. And now you can't get out. And now you're starting to talk about, and last week it was like, Jeffrey Epstein, why are we talking about Jeffrey Epstein? That guy's been dead for years. He was a creep. Okay, but he was your creep. He was your friend creep. He was your creepy friend who liked little girls. I seem to remember a couple of pictures of you with your daughter that were kind of like inappropriate, dude. Ew, whatever. Okay. Apparently, the population that voted for you forgot about that or forgave it because you just love your kid that much. By the way, you have other kids. Never saw you do that with any of the other ones. But okay, whatever. They seem okay with that. But here's the thing, this guy's been dead for a few years, all right? Tragically, suicide. Okay, we're going to go with that theory, all right. But Barack Obama hasn't been president in like a decade plus, and you want to keep talking about Barack Obama like he has anything to do with anything that you're doing, except that you want to put your name on all his shit because you're a jealous little twat. Let's face it, you are. And now all your supporters are mad, except for the diehards who don't read. Sorry, truthful. And now every time somebody says something, I can't get Republicans to even fucking talk to me now because they're like, they all have their heads down, like Trump who, Epstein who. They, you know what I mean? Everybody has clammed up. So my feeling is, okay, so he's painted himself in a corner, and this guy's painted himself in a corner, and we have these documents that now there's nothing to see here all of a sudden, and now he is dredging up shit from before his first presidency that proved that there was a big nothing burger as far as his quote unquote political enemies. Hillary did not have anything to do with Russia, Russia, Russia. Russia was backing Trump. We knew that. Marco Rubio confirmed it. Marco Rubio, who sits in Trump's cabinet. So doesn't this all look like bullshit and distraction and mindless chitter chatter? If you heard about this in 10 years from now, it would be obvious as anything could be to anybody. This is all nonsense, and why didn't people figure it out then? Well, I'm telling you guys, it's time to figure it out now. And Democrats and liberals, I love you, but I do need to say to you, stop with the fluffy fucking talk and just get down to it. Say the shit that needs to be said. Stop with the effervescent language and the we don't want to say certain words. Fuck you. Say certain words. If it's shit, say it's shit. Just get down to it already. Instead of, oh, it's a concentration camp. Yeah, it is a fucking concentration camp. Talk about the fact that these people are being put away. It's like Auschwitz because what are you going to do? There's only so many people you can house in there at a time. What do you think they're going to do when the shit gets to capacity? Do you think they're not considering feeding these people to alligators? I'm not saying they're doing it. I'm saying, what do you think they're going to do? I don't think it's a joke. I think it's fucking serious. I think it's possible. I'm not saying it's happening yet, but what's the next step? You tell me. I don't trust. I don't fucking trust them. You want to interject?
Well, and oh, I do because, well, I mean, I agree with you as far as, I mean, already we've had reports from people in Florida in the inside the camps that are talking about, I mean, like the insect problem is horrible.
Yeah. Oof.
Um,
God.
like think
Human.
about they're in the middle of the Everglades,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I mean, there's no protection from mosquitoes. Uh, Reports are coming out that are really horrible. And then I don't know if you saw it. There was an article. It was not one of the ICE detention facilities, but it was another prison in Florida where they basically tied their hands behind their backs and made them
Mhm.
eat their food off of the floor. Um, this is in Florida somewhere.
Guys,
Um,
these are innocent people. We're not talking about criminals. We're talking about the people that are getting picked up off the street. Okay? We're talking about these idiots making immigration numbers where they're picking people up off the guys down at the Home Depot, the day laborers, okay? People that could live next door to you, people that have no criminal record, people who have done nothing more but than to try to come to a country where they wanted to make life better. These are not criminals. These are not murderers. These are not rapists. These are not drug addicts. These are decent human beings who have been our neighbors for years and years and years. But they're not lily white. So
well,
they're trying to get rid of them.
I
They're
think it's
they're I don't, you know what? They came here illegally. I'm sorry. That is not an excuse to for inhumane treatment and putting them, they're not even real structures. These are fucking tents. There's no there's no weather control, there's no air conditioning. There's not enough of anything to keep these people alive. This is not humane. It's disgusting.
it it is, and I think that it's also important to remind people that the way that they are, basically kidnapping these people is when
Mhm.
they are reporting for their. So a lot of the people are just reporting for their routine immigration check in,
Yep.
and then they're scooping them up and taking them off to places that, often even their attorneys are having difficulty finding them.
Yep.
So I mean, these are people who are doing everything that the law
Yep.
says this is
Mhm.
what you need to do. And I mean, it's pretty horrible. ProPublica published an article. um when did I that was earlier this week, I think. um and I mean, just hearing from people who have uh, their accounts of what some of these detention facilities are like is just um, pretty awful. And people need to start paying attention. I mean, I don't know what more you can say. That all of the information is getting out there. And uh, now they're going to send people to third countries that they don't even have any connection to whatsoever.
Mhm.
Never mind the fact that the majority of people in that have been deported often have no connection. I mean, if they've been in this country since they were 2 years old, they
Right.
have they have no connection to whatever the government is considering their country of origin.
Mhm.
And I mean, it's unconscionable. But now they're just sending them to really to places that are basically death camps. That
Mhm.
they're some of the worst prisons on the planet, and run by dictatorships and very corrupt governments. Uh, what
And
was the
they
movie? What was the movie like in the 70s where the guy was gets caught for drug possession? Uh,
oh, something express.
Midnight
Uh
Express.
Midnight Express.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and anybody our age will remember that movie. But
Mhm.
uh, and it's a story about a guy who gets scooped up for drug trafficking in someplace, uh, I want to say, was it Turkey?
Turkey.
But yeah, and the whole movie is about the horrible treatment that you know that he received in this prison, were like daily beatings and
Hmm.
fun stuff like that. It, this is what the U.S. has become.
Yeah.
This is what the U.S. has become. Uh, we're going to deport people, and I mean, I don't even think you can call it deporting, because that deportation is a process, and it's a legal process. But what is happening here is that these people are not being allowed any kind of due process. They're being scooped up and given no notice, and then sent to camps either within the U.S. or sent to prisons like CCOT outside of the
Hmm.
U.S. that have, horrible conditions. It's just, it's unreal. And to get back to the, Epstein stuff, I mean, I feel like just in the last 24 hours, the number of ridiculous stories that are being circulated, Tulsi Gabbard, which Russian media identified as a Russian asset, okay? Like
Bitch,
on
go back
live
under
on
your
air.
rock. Stop. This bitch needs to go back under the rock she climbed out of. I mean, the fact that you even called yourself a Democrat at one point is astounding to me. You are a sycophant and a psycho. I don't know what got to her. I don't know who hurt her feelings on the playground. I'm done. I am done with your bullshit. Forget it. There are some people that, I like to think that there's hope for everybody. Nah, fuck it. Mm-mm. Some people, I guess, are just irredeemable. I'm so tired of her. I'm so tired of Hegseth and that bullshit. We'll get to that in a minute. My thing is, listen, the only way Democrats are going to win is if they climb off their high horse and just fucking get real and start calling shit what it fucking is. Just call it what the fuck it is and stop looking for pretty language. And when somebody says to you that, oh, well, rights and this and that, start talking about shit that really does upset people. Like things that upset everybody, like children being ripped from their families, like people being sent away with no due process, like shit that affects everyone, okay, or can affect every single person, and give them real examples about how when you start taking away people and the government decides that they don't like you because you have an opinion they don't agree with, that they may take you too, and let people know how fucking real this shit is gonna get. Because as we've been saying since 2015, the shit is getting realer by the day, and it's not gonna fucking stop. This guy is killing, he's doing everything but dying. Are you serious? Come on. Let us not be disillusioned anymore by the idea that, oh, he won't break this institution, or he won't corrupt that idea, or he won't run roughshod over the fucking Constitution. He's already got a Supreme Court, which was the one thing we warned everybody about since day one, was that a Supreme Court is more important than a president. And we told you that if they got their hands on the Supreme Court and destroyed it, which they fucking did, the Constitution was going to be as good as your toilet paper, which it now fucking is. Look at the protections as they leave the room. Look at the laws change as the Supreme Court gives everything Trump wants to him. Watch. Watch, it's happening daily, and you're not even seeing it because they're not even reporting it all. You can't get it all at one shot because Trump is flooding the airwaves with all of this other bullshit. And you can't catch it all. It's like monkeys flinging shit, all in unison, an army of 1,000. Try to catch it all with a sieve. Good luck.
So let me ask you this.
Please do.
So what do you see? Where do you see this all going with, like, the Epstein stuff is not going away.
No, it's not.
It is not going away.
Mm-mm.
And I think it's really interesting because, I mean, they kind of did it to themselves.
Yes. Self-inflicted wound. Absolutely.
So I've seen some interesting speculation online
Uh-huh.
of Trump being pushed out.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a couple of theories that I've heard be floated. I've heard that J.D. Vance is waiting to hit the 25th Amendment on him and get him out of the way. I've heard that Mike Johnson also is floating that idea. I don't know if any of that is true. I think they're too frightened of him. But it's possible because anything's fucking possible now. Trump has made anything possible. Do I think he will keep throwing dispersions on Obama and everybody before him? Yeah, because Trump loves doing that. Do I think he's going to get away with it? Maybe. I think the rational part of his base, whatever part of that is rational, I don't know. I don't know what the percentages are of people finally seeing through the smoke. Apparently, some of them are starting to see through the smoke. Apparently, some of them were seeing through the smoke, and there's a large contingent of former Trump supporters who are saying, we made a mistake. Okay, very good. And now that's growing with the Epstein thing. I didn't realize the Epstein thing was so important to them. I apologize. I guess there was something there that had to crack you, but apparently, okay, homicide and, raping older people, people age appropriate wasn't enough, but this is what's getting you. Okay, as long as there's something of a broken moral compass, but okay, you hit a limit. Fucking scary to me, but Access Hollywood tapes were enough for me to go, and rumors were enough for me to go, ugh, disgusting, but okay. Everybody has to figure it out on their own, but do I think he'll resign? No, never. Never, 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 ever. Will he go willingly? Of course not. I think here's what I do think. The fact that he opened his mouth about Barack Obama and called a former sitting president a traitor? Are you, huh? You accused him of Barack Obama you accused of treason? Have you lost all sense, sir? Have you lost every working brain cell you ever fucking had, sir? Really? Barack Obama. Okay, I'm not saying Barack Obama was perfect. He's human, far from it. We're all human, far from it. But that's who you decide you're going to call a traitor? You're insane, sir. You are the definition of traitor. We could put you as the picture of traitor and treason and treasonous acts for the things you've done, how you cozied up to North Korea, how you cozied up to Putin. I can't even begin to list the treasonous acts that you've committed, how you've profited off being the president of the United States, which we never had to tell anyone not to do that before. And you apparently think, oh, it's fine. Millions and millions of dollars. You weren't rich when you became president, but you fucking are now. Isn't that interesting? We still haven't even seen your tax records from before 2016. You still haven't shown anyone your financial statements. Isn't that interesting? Although everyone else did. And your medical records have not been made public. Gee, Shocking how you've rewritten every rule to suit yourself, but yeah, nothing to see here. Shocking. But what I do believe is that Barack Obama, now that he has finally made a public statement, and Trump is doubling down on it, I wish well to Rupert Murdoch, who should countersue in a big way, and I wish that Barack Obama would sue for libel and defamation of character, because quite frankly, I think Trump counts on the fact that Barack Obama is a gentleman and won't do it. And I think Barack needs to change it up. I think Democrats and liberals need to change it up and stop accepting the bullshit that we have been fed by the right for all of these decades. It's time to stand up and say, you know what? We're done being the party of polite. We're done being the party of turn the other cheek. We're done being the party of, oh, just ignore it, it'll go away. It doesn't go away. That's how we got to where we are now. And when we start standing up for ourselves and start speaking about real issues, all the issues, not just the issues that affect some, but the issues that affect everyone, and stay fucking focused and stop apologizing for, are we going to hurt somebody's feelings? Yes, we fucking are. And you know what? I'm sorry. When Hillary Clinton said basket of deplorables, she was right. Some people are just a basket of deplorables. Are some people dumb, Kamala? Yes, Kamala. Some people are just fucking dumb. Yes, they are. Some people need to read a book. Some people need to stop going to church and pick up a newspaper, or maybe read the Bible themselves. Maybe stop relying on other people for your education and start reading. Is that harsh? Oh, is the roof going to cave in? Oh, no. Figure it out. I'm not a Rhodes Scholar. I'm not brilliant. Read. Fucking read. Get different ideas. Meet different people. Get out of your one horse town and go meet some fucking folks. Drive to the big town and go have dinner and sit down and say hello to the table next to you and say, hey, what y'all doing? How's it going? And don't be so worried about your tiny little fucking circle. We do that all the time. We go into town and we say, hello. Hi, nice to meet you. What's it like around here? No, nobody's rich in our circle. Nobody. But we go and we say hello and we find out the experiences of our neighbors and where they came from. And maybe we learn a little something about what they've been through, what their life is like. And we get information that's outside of our lived experience. And maybe we grow a little bit and maybe we share some information. Maybe we stop having our face in a fucking screen all day, every day, and try humanity for a change. Give it a whirl. You might like it. You won't always like it, but once in a while, you might actually make a fucking friend. Try. You never know what could happen. All right, pull me off this fucking soapbox. I'm sick of myself.
Well, so I have to say that I'm just kind of, I've been sitting back and I've been really watching like what's been going on, and I'm just struck by, I mean, the people that are in positions of power in this moment are some of the most incompetent people that I think I can ever remember being in government. I mean, oh yeah, you always had one or two here and there, but it is like a landslide of just incompetence that is quite frankly breathtaking. uh, and I just can't get over the fact that, like, even with whether we're talking about Epstein, whether we're talking about, um, you know, Pete Hegseth, it doesn't matter which one we're talking about. I mean, these are literally some of the most incompetent. I can't ever remember anyone, like the entire administration, lying blatantly about everything and anything. It's absolutely stunning.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I keep coming back to, Bondi in February saying that the Epstein file was on her desk
Yep.
and that they were going to be going through it and they were going to release the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
Which at the time struck me as curious because, like, nobody had really been talking about Epstein
Right.
for a, quite a long time. And then,
Mm-hmm.
and you think, well, what is okay, so they're red meat, they're playing to their base.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got it. Like, I do think his death was quite curious.
Mm.
Uh,
Little sus. Little sus.
yeah, for sure. But it was not the Democrats that were calling for any of that.
Nope.
Um, now Ron Wyden has been chasing the money trail on that for quite a while now. And there have been some pretty interesting revelations with all of that. And I think that if any of this ends up bearing any kind of useful information, that is probably the direction, because even if they block all of this from ever being public, the financial end of it, I think, is perhaps liable to be the most telling. But I just, like, it's not going away, and that it's kind of hilarious to me that they continue to double down on, no matter what it is, they're just doubling down on some of the most ridiculous shit. Meanwhile, as you say, the Supreme Court is handing down rulings left and right that each one is more horrible than the last one.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to wonder, I mean, where does all of this end up? Because I can't see, people are starting to wake up now.
Uh-huh.
They're like, oh shit, this is really bad. Um, and, and we're not even yet to the point where we're going to be, because a lot of people are going to be very seriously impacted,
Mm-hmm.
financially speaking. I mean, already, um, I know your industry has been impacted.
Mm-hmm.
My husband's industry has been impacted,
Yep.
and it's going to get a lot worse before it gets any kind of better.
Right.
Because I mean, I don't see it. I don't see how it can. Once you start eliminating government jobs at the rate that they have done,
Mm-hmm.
um, now the competition for work is going to be much, much higher.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
how long do you think it will be before people just completely lose their minds and just start tearing everything apart? And that's my question.
Okay.
That's my question
So
for the
okay. So here's the thing. Um I don't see a complete system meltdown in the next year or two, but with the swiftness with which things are happening, it could be before the end of this term. Um, because the system is melting down so fast and people are trying to adapt. See, this is the problem with humans. We're too adaptable. Um, Unfortunately, we built a system that is not sustainable. We put in a president that's not sustainable. Everybody thinks that 2018 is going to be, or 2016, we might be able to recoup some ground. But we're on a collision course with stupidity. And the problem is that once you have set that course, it is very hard to come back from because people want to be stupid. People have elected to be stupid. People have elected to be hateful. People have elected for what, you know, I keep hearing reporters say, this isn't us, this isn't America. Oh no, you're wrong. This is very fucking much us. Now, we have elected for this to be us, whether the rest of us wanted it or not. He didn't, this election, once again, did not fall off the back of a truck. Americans voted for this shit. You know, and all the begging and pleading and crying and yelling and screaming that we've done fell on deaf ears again. And I don't know if it's because people love their misery or whatever the fuck it is, but elections have consequences, and we are living with consequences. You know, once he got back in, you know, the idea that people said, but this isn't what I voted for. Yeah, it is. It's exactly what you voted for. I'm sorry you don't like what you voted for, but you didn't listen to reason. You didn't care about facts. You specifically said to our faces, the facts didn't matter. Okay, this is the result of
See,
facts not mattering.
see, I think that a lot of people didn't understand what they were voting for at all. I mean, he's done almost exactly what he said he would do,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that the majority of people that voted for him
Mm-hmm.
had no idea what they were really voting for.
Wait. Let me back you up on that. Let me just, let's just explain this one more time. He said what he was going to do,
Mhm.
correct? And
Correct.
and even though he said what he was going to do, you're going to posit to me that people did not understand the words that were coming out of his mouth.
Correct.
So who's stupid?
Well, I'm not saying that they're not stupid. What I am saying is that I think for a lot of the voting public
Mm-hmm.
that voted for him,
Mm-hmm.
that they really didn't believe that what he said he was going to do was what the plan was. You know,
Okay,
because
so you're saying that they voted for him hoping he was a liar or
yeah.
believing he was lying. So either
Mhm.
way, that's pretty damn stupid. Okay, got it.
Well, I think you also have to look at how people look at politics and how they consider politics, and they largely believe that, you know, politicians are corrupt, that they make promises that they don't keep. And I think that that is, you know, which is a huge disconnect, on one level, but on another level they're not necessarily wrong in that. How many times have you seen a politician, any politician, um, that has made either wild claims or bogus claims or whatever of what they were going to do in office, and you knew that there was no way that that was even gonna make it to the table for whatever reason. And I think that, so we have a public that is conditioned to disregard whatever kind of nonsense. And I mean, look at Trump's first term,
Right,
okay?
right.
And he
But
tried to do some things, but he
uh
really wasn't able. And a lot of the things that he said he was going to do, they didn't really follow through, or maybe they tried to follow through, but they, you know, um, part of it was, I mean, from our perspective, we know that a lot of the things that he said he was going to do or wanted to do, he was unable to, because there were guardrails in place to prevent that from happening. But
mhm.
we also, you and I understand how government works. We understand how the system is designed, and, you know, how this all works, right? There's a lot of moving parts and they all have to work together in order for anything to be accomplished. And that prevented much of the disasters that we're seeing now because those guardrails were in place. So, for the average person who really doesn't have much understanding of politics or how any of this works, they could look at his first term and say, well, he said he was going to do all this. And, of course he couldn't do that. And, it wasn't that bad. And, you know, I mean, I'm telling you that I really think that is where a lot of people were coming from, that they really didn't believe that. I mean, anybody who has watched any of Trump's speeches or addresses, I mean, there's no way that you could not know what a liar he is. I
Well,
mean,
here's
he makes shit up. He's worse
yes.
than AI. I mean, come on. He is worse than the AI hallucinations, in that he just makes stuff up, and and people like eat it up because, he's like whatever they're however they perceive him, like they somehow feel like he's one of them. Like, why? Don't ask me why. I can't explain how anyone who is
All right, I've got to counter this. I've got to counter this.
okay.
First of all, when a politician, and yes, do politicians make promises? Absolutely. Do they keep them? Nah. But here's the thing. When a politician makes a promise to a crowd, it's usually something good. That's number one. Number two, Trump's promises of everything he wants to do is going to hurt someone. There's a propensity to keep promises that suck as opposed to promises that are good. That's your first tell. The second tell is no other president, to my knowledge, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but to my knowledge, had something called Project 2025.
Mhm.
We did before the election. We warned people about Project 2025. They fucking put it in print. Okay? It was there for the populace to see if
Yep.
they cared enough to investigate it. Normally, I cannot tell you that I have ever seen such a document before in my life or have heard of such a document before. And I'm not saying it didn't exist with somebody else. It very well could have, but I've never seen anything or heard about anything this horrific that was just dismissed out of hand. And everybody said, oh, well, he said he didn't know anything about it. And people just believed it because he said it. Like he's got some hotline to God because the fucking Republicans co opted God back in the 80s, 70s, and 80s. They co opted God and everybody dropped their pants because a Republican said Jesus and everybody lost their shit. That's the problem with religion and politics. Only one person, only one side gets to have religion. And it is my feeling that that is how we lost the fucking country because you're all praying, we're all praying to something that we hope exists and that we hope we've pleased. And we won't know until we get out of this sphere, out of this plane. And you know what? I'm willing to take a chance that the Christians are wrong. Truly. Because I see the hypocrisy. I see how they live their lives. I see how they use Jesus as a cudgel when they want to, and they ignore what he allegedly said when they want to. And feeding children, no, no, no. They like to save fetuses. They don't give a fuck about babies. They don't give a fuck about their neighbors. They don't give a fuck about anybody but themselves and their money and their power. I was raised by these fucking people. So I've seen the hypocrisy up close and personal, and it's bullshit. So that's just my version. But hey, everybody's entitled to their own mythology. I'm not shitting on them. I'm just shitting on the hypocrisy. Truly. So we're all taking our fucking chances, okay? How about be a good person just to be a good person? And if you're claiming this mantle of holiness and goodness, why don't you try following your alleged documents? The ones that say you will take care of the stranger, you will take care of the child when the child is here, not pre-birth. And once again, let me state for the listeners in the back seats, if someone needs to use someone else's life to save their relationship with God, then their faith is false, and so is their God. Period. I'm now going to take a minute to talk about wildhunt.org. Wildhunt.org, give it all your support. Wild Hunt, pagan paper of record. We love wildhunt.org. We get all our news from it. Well, not all our news. We get a lot of our news from it. Because why? Because it's written by real journalists. I don't know how much longer we're going to have real journalists in the mainstream media. I am starting to question a lot of the stuff I'm starting to see in the mainstream media. So please, support wildhunt.org. Give it all your love. Thank you so much. Back to the show.
So, I want to talk about Mr. Colbert.
Oh, cool.
So, anyone who doesn't know is probably, I don't know what they're doing, but Colbert announced last week, right? Thursday.
Was it last Thursday? Yes.
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 That his show has been canceled.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of outcry online and on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Paramount, which owns CBS and has a deal pending with Skydance, which there's a lot of theorizing going on that the reason that Paramount decided to cancel the Late Show with Stephen Colbert was to get the merger that they have proposed with Skydance pushed through. The reason that Paramount gave for ending Colbert's show, because they're not replacing him, they're not just getting rid of him, they're getting rid of the entire show. So there will be no late night. They had already canceled After Midnight, which anybody who watched that, I mean, it was one of the most interesting and clever takes on late night that I think I've ever seen, and that's saying something. But so they'd already done away with After Midnight, which replaced James Corden.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
you're fine.
And the reason that they said was that it was due to financial concerns that the Late Show just was costing. They released numbers where they said that the Late Show was costing between 50 and 60 million a year, that they were losing that much money.
Bullshit.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
I don't really, I don't really believe that.
Mhm.
Colbert Show was the highest rated of all of the late night shows.
Mhm.
But I will say that all of the late night shows have been losing ground for a while.
True.
Uh, However, for them to take an axe to Colbert um, just seemed, it was pretty shocking. But I think also the bigger story here is that immediately after that was announced, uh, Trump took to social media and crowed about it, which does not make CBS look very good, frankly.
Nope.
It kind of gives some validity to the whole idea that they did this in order to get their merger pushed through. Um, Now, this morning, I got up and I'm checking out things on the internet, and did you happen to see any blurbs about South Park?
Yes, I did actually.
Yeah. So apparently that whole episode ran uh, last night,
Mhm.
and it definitely. Let's just put it this way: the very tender, sensitive asshole in the White House is going to be really upset if he's not already once he sees the or hears about the episode of South Park, which is also produced. It's a uh, it's a CBS Paramount production.
Production. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see if their merger survives uh, the fallout from that. I suspect that it will not. But the broader implications of all of this is again capitulation to Trump.
Mhm.
And anyone who says different, you're certainly entitled to your opinion.
But
But
you're wrong.
well, I won't say you're wrong, but I don't
No, I said
agree.
it.
I
Yeah,
disagree.
well,
I
no, I.
disagree. So it bodes pretty ill for the direction that we're headed for
Mhm.
sure. Um,
Mhm.
Unlike you, I still think that there is some hope for pulling things back completely from the edge of the abyss.
Okay. That's why I love you.
Well, but also, I mean, none of what they're peddling is new. None of it is
Mhm.
new. You can go back and Rachel Maddow did a really great job of uh, talking about everything that happened in the lead up to World War II and how we got to where we were with that. But I mean, fascism was quite literally being pushed by a number of elected officials and prominent people within the United States that they were all in on Hitler. And, we managed to pull back from the brink of that. This
Peop
is definitely not
mm,
not quite the same,
no.
but there are definitely, you start twanging on some threads, and it's not that much different.
Well,
So,
I'm going to have to push back on that. Sorry.
okay.
It is different. The circumstances are different. People were more intelligent then and better read. People paid more attention to their neighbors. People did not have as many distractions. Was life hard? Yes, but the sense of community back then and knowing your neighbors and looking after people was much more important then. I think we are too isolated now. This again is why I keep talking about talking to other people and maybe getting some information outside of your own bubble and your own echo chamber. It's important to be around others. It's important to hear what other people say. Now, I'm not.
That's that's okay. That's those things are definitely true, but I think you have to remember. I want you to go to think about, what this country was like in the 30s and the 40s. People
Racist.
are far better. They travel more. They have access to media from all over. They don't have to wait 5 days to get a newspaper from a major city or from overseas. There's more than just radio. And not only that, but people didn't travel outside of their communities. So, I mean, I think
I
that
agree with you. I agree with you on that. There is a lot more access. You are totally right. People do have the ability to travel more. You are also correct on all of these. You're right. You're totally right. The problem is if you're not open to this shit, if you're not open to doing these things, if you're not open to these experiences, they may as well not be there. When people had fewer options, they relied on the community that was around them more. We don't have to rely on any fucking body now, and we don't. And we don't know our neighbors, and we don't know what's going on next door, and we don't know the people down the street like we used to. Now, you and I are different because you and I believe in community, so we do. But other people, they have no idea who they're living next door to. People across the way in my apartment complex don't know the people next. They know me, but they don't know the people next door. They know who I am because I make sure every fucking body knows who the fuck Raina Star is. That's right, goddamn it, you know it.
well,
But
but I
but that's the thing. Just because something is available does not mean people are taking the time to avail themselves of it. I wish they would. I wish they would.
I don't. I think that both of these things can be true at the same time.
Yes, yes,
I think
yes.
that while there are certainly people that are trapped in their own little bubbles, I also think that it very much depends on where you are in this country, where you are. Every community is a little bit different. Um, so I think that's kind of I don't think you can make a sweeping generalization like that and have it stand up
Well, I
because
mean, not across the board, but listen. A lot of people haven't even gotten over the COVID thing yet. A lot of people got isolated and stayed isolated. I
this
mean,
is true. This is true.
there's a
Uh,
lot of possibilities for sure, for sure. But the idea that people, um, I would posit that more people have stayed isolated than, and I wish I were wrong. I would love to be wrong about that. But I just see people preferring to be in their own little echo chamber with their own little group because it's easier than learning something else. I think people are lazy.
well,
That's just me. That's an opinion. That's an opinion,
people
obviously.
are certainly lazy. Okay, I won't argue with you on that one,
Yeah.
because I think that is undeniable. But
Hmm.
I do think that um, you know, given an opportunity that is easy, which is why I think we have to continually talk to people.
Yes.
Um, we have to, we have to open the door for anyone to be able to walk through.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really important. But
Yeah,
I do think that, you know, the level of propaganda that was rampant in this country in the lead up to World War II is not dissimilar from where we are right now.
I agree with that.
And I also, but you know, it's on a different scale,
Hmm.
but it is, I mean, nothing that is being put out there is any different than the people who supported Hitler, what they were saying. This is all, I mean, you can trace every bit of it back to the same propaganda that was being pushed in this country, um, by people who supported the Nazis. I mean, that is just simply a fact.
Yeah. Well, sometimes we learn from history and sometimes we fucking don't. That's the part that scares me.
Well, yeah.
You
I
know?
mean, it's most certainly alarming.
Hmm.
Um, but I digress a little bit here.
Okay.
Um, but I still think that in the end, we have the ability to uh, to come out of this
I hope
and
so.
rebuild. Now, is it going to be a mess? Yeah,
For sure.
I think I think it's going to be a huge mess, and I think that it's going to take decades to fix what these asshats have broken in a matter of months.
Hmm. It went down fast. It really did. It went down so unbelievably fast.
Eh,
I.
unbelievably, uh, unbelievably fast.
Hmm.
So I have an idea that I think is a good one.
All right.
So we know that Public Broadcasting Corporation had their funding cut,
Yep.
although I think they're still fighting over that as to whether or not they can legally do that. Um, I think that Colbert should take his show to public broadcasting, to PBS,
Hmm.
because he could single handedly probably shore up enough funding to keep public broadcasting happening. What do you think?
Great idea. I like it. He could get some of his rich friends to help him out too.
Yeah, he has a lot of he knows a lot of people. What if
He
like
does.
John Stewart? What
I
if like
know.
what about John Stewart, who's just been, you know, who's
And
gone
Seth
back to
Meyers,
the
The Daily Show.
yeah, he's gone back to the Daily Show, but he was uh doing YouTube also. So, you know, like direct to YouTube. Um, so I don't know. That's my thought, and I think that anybody who thinks this is a good idea should maybe send Mr. Colbert a message, um, you know, and like write him an email and talk about it and talk about it on social media and say, hey, you know,
Hey,
you could
yeah,
use your power for
for
even
good.
extra good, you
Yeah.
know, while you roast the asses of all of these executives at Paramount over the
Uh huh.
next 10 months, because his show doesn't end until May of next year, which is also really curious. Like, okay, you're costing us too much money, but like,
We're going to keep you on for almost a year.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah. Well, probably
mm.
because I mean, I'm sure he's under contract and they have to pay him no matter what.
Right, but here's the thing. If he were that much of a problem for certain people, I mean, they're flinging around millions of dollars like it's nothing anyway. Why not just pay him and let him stay home? So
Yeah, why not? Indeed.
I find this curious as well. But We can address that when we get more information on it. But in the meantime, we are we are we are done for today.
No,
Yes.
but I'm not done.
Are you not done?
Well, I mean, I am done,
You
but
are done. But it's
some people you might ask would say I'm like quite done and
some
crispy.
some people would say I'm overdone. Yes, indeed. I don't care. I don't listen to those people. Anyway, all right, guys, we're off next week. I will be back with Lilith Dorsey. We hope you have a great week. Please read. Please talk to people. Please don't get arrested. Jesus fucking Christ. Stay safe. Do your best. Try to love other people as much as they'll let you, as much as you can. Anyway, say goodnight, Star.
Good night, Star.
All right, everybody. Bye.